Yeah, Ōkami! I love this game. This is easily one of my 2 favorite games of all time. And I just heard that Capcom is having a costume and weapon for Monster Hunter Generations for your Palico. And I'm so excited because I love this game, I really do. But I just wasn't expecting anything else to happen with it. I love it so much. Long, long ago, a tiny hamlet known as Kamiki lay nestled in a grove of proud and beautiful cherry blossoms. Each and every tree around the quiet burg was honored as a god. However, the village was not without its dark secrets. To satiate the appetite of Orochi, a fearsome, cave-dwelling beast, a young maiden was offered as a sacrifice at the annual festival. With a body like a mountain and 8 heads mounted on necks the size of tree trunks, its blood-red eyes alone were said to curse anyone who gazed into them. No one dared disobey the horrific beast. When the night of the sacrifice drew near, a mysterious white wolf appeared outside the village. This wolf, its coat as brilliant as snow, was dubbed Shiranui. The wolf kept a watchful eye on anyone who ventured outside the village, and made a habit of patrolling the streets at night. People assumed the wolf to be a familiar of Orochi. One villager took it upon himself to face the fearsome Shiranui. The warrior Nagi attempted many times to challenge the wolf, but his attempts were thwarted by Shiranui's swift movements. Before long, the night of the accursed festival had arrived. A white-plumed arrow heralded the coming sacrifice. Piercing the sky, the arrow sunk its shaft squarely into the home of Nami, the village's most beautiful maiden. Nagi, harboring a secret love for Nami, was enraged by this sign. Determined to put an end to Orochi once and for all, Nagi traveled to the beast's cave in place of his beloved. The Moon Cave, a place as dark as evil itself, served as Orochi's home. As Nagi stood bravely before the entrance, a beast appeared, eyes glowing crimson upon 8 thrashing necks. Orochi stood tall before him, anxious for another sacrifice. Nagi leapt with incredible grace, swinging his blade valiantly. On and on he sliced, well into the moonless night. But Orochi's hide was like steel. The blade left nary a scratch. At long last, Nagi, his energy spent from the intense battle, dropped to his knees, fatigued and gasping for breath. He knew he was staring death in the face. It was then that the wolf appeared. As if to protect Nagi, it stood its ground before Orochi. In the darkness of the cave, the wolf's coat shone brilliantly. Alas, it was Shiranui, the wolf that dwelled outside the village. Bearing its fearsome claws, Shiranui leapt towards Orochi. Orochi reared its terrifying heads, readying its fangs for battle. The two beasts struggled wildly, thrashing in the darkness. Mysterious and terrifying, the spectacle continued. Shiranui summoned gusts of divine wind to counter Orochi's flames. As Orochi closed in on Shiranui, sharpened claws glistening, a gigantic tree suddenly sprouted forth, shielding the wolf. Shiranui fought gallantly to gain the upper hand. However, Orochi, protected by a mystical power, was not easily bested. Shiranui, covered in gashes, majestic coat dyed crimson, stood exhausted before the mighty Orochi. Orochi saw a chance to strike what would be the final blow. But Shiranui refused to give in. With its last ounce of strength, the majestic wolf gazed heavenward and unleashed a mighty howl. Suddenly, the black clouds overhead dissipated. The light from above glinted off Nagi's sword as a beacon of hope. Guided by his sword, Nagi, who had been taking shelter in the shadows, stood proudly to face his adversary. Channeling all his strength into his scarred and battered arms, he leapt ferociously toward Orochi, his sword poised high. The golden sword danced in his hands like a puppet on a string. One by one, Orochi's fearsome heads separated from their owner. Orochi's broken body collapsed in a lake of its own blood. In that instant, the curse that plagued the villagers was lifted. As the battle subsided, the sun shone once again in the sky. Shiranui had succumbed to Orochi's poison and struggled to breathe. Nagi scooped the beast into his arms and returned to Kamiki. When they reached the village, Shiranui was no longer moving. The village elder gently stroked the wolf's head. In response, Shiranui let out a hoarse and pitiful bark, then closed its eyes and drifted off as if into slumber. Peace had at last returned to Kamiki village. In honor of Shiranui's heroic exploits, the villagers erected a shrine and placed a statue of the wolf within it. Nagi's sword was christened Tsukuyomi and placed inside the moon cave. The villagers all looked forward to an age of endless peace. However, this is not the end of the story. There is more to this tale than most people know. 100 years had passed since Nagi and Shiranui's heroic exploits. It happened so quickly that no one in the village even took notice. A horrible tragedy suddenly swept over the land. However, there was one village that seemed to escape the terrible curse. The tiny settlement of Kamiki Village enjoyed the protection of a sacred tree. It is here that the real story begins. Here we go. Sakuya! Her entire motif is peaches. I love the style of this game. The art is gorgeous. The effects are wonderful. I love the outline effect. I've been learning how to replicate that effect in Unity. Because I want to make my own game like this one. but already you can see that something's not quite right. Amaterasu isn't exactly a godly figure at the moment. Nippon! Oh, how unnecessary. That's so very Japanese. Hello, Isun. Isun's a good guy. I don't think that model moves until you get much closer to it. The dichotomy between the classical Japanese art and the stylized art of this game is a little odd. The fire of the reflector is going through her ear. And now it's in her back. Red words are important! Yeah, there we go. So as you might imagine, I'm emulating the game, because I don't exactly know how I'd go about setting up my Wii to record from. Also, I have the Wii version of the game, which isn't the greatest. Oh, there's the map. Yeah, there we go. It's not a great port. I still love the game, but there's some graphical issues, some control issues inherent to the Wii, and most bafflingly of all, Capcom stole their own art from IGN for the cover of this game. You can see the watermark of IGN on the actual game case. It is baffling. It's a save point. They make no attempts to hide the fact that this is a game. And there's a hint for farther down the road. Near the very end of the game, you'll come to a point where you will not be able to go back. I'm gonna save over my test file. Something that this game does have problems with is tutorial stuff. It likes to repeat itself and really hammer its point in. Like this entire area, you can't really go very far until Isu starts talking to you again. I'm using a modified controller setup with my Xbox controller. I have swing in the Wii remote mapped to pressing the right shoulder button. This also allows you to dash while you're moving. I've also set up so that I can use the mouse for drawing. Because something that I really loved about the Wii version, even if it wasn't the best port, is that drawing with the Wii remote really made you feel godly in a sense. Because you're actively drawing into the game world. It felt very nice. Tutorial level. Isun doesn't shut up. Who says that? Is that something that's actually said? There's a healing item. Solar energy is effectively heart containers. Something that I would really have loved to have seen is a port for the Wii U of Ōkami. Because that would have been the perfect game for the Wii U's control settings. You actively draw on the gamepad to affect the world. That would have been amazing. That would probably have been one of the very few games that truly took advantage of the Wii U's hardware. As it stands, the Wii U wasn't really utilized to its full potential. Which was a shame. It was really a shame. Here's our introduction to the unique mechanic in this game. Affecting the world with the brush. The game has a bit of an exposition problem. It really does. All stars form a pattern. Constellations are a human product. It takes a human to look up at the stars, gas giants, light years apart, and say, "That's a spoon." Exposition, exposition. I've mapped B to the left trigger. And look at how smooth this is. Because I'm using the mouse. Boink, boink, boink. Some of the brush gods just get downright silly. Particularly I think Bakugami. He's a riot. The 13 brush gods are the zodiac animals, plus the cat, who was originally going to be a zodiac animal, but wound up being looked over by his friend, the rat, and then was forever angry at the rat. Which is why cats eat mice. Yeah, no crap it was Ōkami. He just told us that! So until you get, I think, the second one, Issun's going to continually do this when you activate a rush power. Here's a thought. What happens if I jump? Jump in! Jump in! You can't jump in. Okay. You can see the amount of ink you have left for a drawing up in the corner. Luckily, you can't drown in this river, because that would be unfortunate. Astral pouch? Crap. It's basically like energy tanks in Metroid. So yeah, you just kind of stuff it full of food, and it will save you from death. There should be food in these pots. Maybe in these pots? There's pots. This doesn't happen every time, by the way, which is a godsend, honestly, because that would be insufferable. It just happens the first time you collect a certain item. There's a lot of pop-in as well. That's probably a limitation of the Wii itself. That's significant pop-in. Wow. I thought Xenoblade Chronicles X had it bad. But wow. 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 That is a significant draw distance. Dumplings! Dumplings! You can also just kind of dig in the ground and sometimes find stuff. Yes, so we've heard, Issun. So we freaking heard! Hey, remember. You have this now. Remember? Do you remember? Do you remember the thing that we just gave you? Do you remember it? Do you? It's a gerbil! Boop, boop, boop. with a truly enormous sword. The mighty power slash technique. I would love to see Amaterasu in Super Smash Bros. I would love that. She would be an amazingly unique character. Yes, Isun. We know who Shiranui is. Power Slash will eventually have its own upgrades. They'll allow it to slash even more things! Remember that thing from a few minutes ago? Go do that now. What? Power Slash is truly devastating and uncontrollable. Give me the fruit! Give me the fruit! And now here's our first taste of combat. I don't wanna. What I want to do is this. If you use a specific brush power on a defeated enemy before they disappear, you can get Demon Fangs, which can be traded for other items. With the early game guys, it's usually Power Slash. Though eventually you'll get like wind and like. Yeah, we took a hit. I blame Isun. Let's see, there's a treasure chest around here somewhere. There it is. Stray beads are the collectibles for this game. There's 99 of them, I think. How many are there? Yeah, 99 of them. One of them can only be obtained... There's actually 100 in the game, but only 99 can be collected in a play session. The 100th bead is only obtainable in New Game Plus. And if you collect all 100 of them, you gain an item that you can equip that makes you literally invincible. You can't take damage, you have infinite ink, you deal more damage. It's truly impressive. Yeah, right there in the Holy Artifacts. We don't have a praise yet, and praise is what we use to increase our stats. Gain more ink pots, gain more life, get another astral pouch, increase how much yen we can have. We can go over your brush powers here. Many brush powers have additional abilities that you can get later. And then there's just, you know, stuff. Here's your quest log to remind you of what you're doing, just in case you've forgotten. Travel guide just gives you hints. The bestiaries tell you a little bit about the enemies that you fight. Gives you some hints at what they do, how to beat them easier. And there's the map. You can reach the map by pressing 1 or 2. 1. Yeah, 1. I have that mapped to Y on my emulator. Fight! No fight! I know there's enough fight in here somewhere. There it is. The faster you win a fight and the less damage you take, you get more yen as a reward. Which means you can buy more things from the merchants.